I have one correction for you. Oh, are we live?
Yes.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Holistic Hit Show. My name is Zane.
My name is Imad. And my name is Qasim.
The news is filled with telling us how toxic our world is. Our water, our air, our food, all filled with chemicals. But no one tells us what are we really going to do with all these toxins. Seriously, like what are we going to do with all these toxins? Especially that us kids are developing these toxins that can affect us a lot more. So we are so excited to have we're so excited to have you with us today, Dr. Nashat Latib.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here with you guys today. This is so fun.
Dr. Nashat Latib. Wait, is that how you say your name? How do you like?
Yeah, Dr. Nashat Latib. You got it.
Dr. Nashat Latib has over 20 years of clinical experience as a board certified emergency physician and functional medicine. Dr. Latib has served in multiple leadership roles in large hospital systems and has served as an expert panelist for the Texas Medical Board for the past 13 years. She currently serves as the functional medicine and fertility doctor at Sydenham Clinic in Houston, Texas.
We are so honored that you are here with us today.
Thank you.
So yeah, you went from a conventional medical doctor to a functional medicine doctor. We would love to know your story. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, that's a really long story, so I'll try to give you the short version of it. But, I was working in the ER, and what I saw was the same people coming in and out of the ER over and over. And I realized that the traditional approach to medicine was basically one where we're basically putting band-aids on everybody, right? So instead of actually uncovering what's really going on at the root cause of everything, we're putting a band-aid on the problem, writing them a prescription for a drug, and sending them out the door. And what happened in the process is that people would turn around and come back with the same exact problem over and over again. So over the course of that journey, I realized that there was something more. And a few years ago, I actually lost my mom. And she passed away from a neurodegenerative disease. And I really think it was at that point that I realized that Western medicine had failed me, and it failed somebody that I absolutely loved. And I realized that there was something more to, more than just the traditional Western medical approach that we're all accustomed to. And so that's when I stumbled upon functional medicine, which of course is root cause medicine, right? You guys know all about that.
Yeah.
Let's start with the basics. What are toxins?
It's a great question. Toxins are all around us. Toxins are found in the air, right? So simple things like car emissions. Toxins are found in food. Toxins are actually found even in your own home. I always tell my patients just the act of getting up and getting ready for work in the morning exposes you to over 200 chemicals without even leaving your house. And so that's why it's so important to detoxify your lifestyle. A lot of people don't even realize that just cooking on a simple, what looks like an innocent non-stick pan is actually toxic, right? Body products that we bathe with can be toxic. There's lots of things, even like receipts. Have you guys ever gotten a receipt, right, from the store? Yeah. You know how receipts are shiny? Mm-hmm. So even that shininess on the receipt is actually a toxin. there is BPA in there, right? And BPA, which is bisphenol A, is actually one of the biggest toxins that is so widely talked about and found in a lot of plastics. And so it's a lot of toxins are hidden places where we don't even realize they exist. And they cause a lot of disruption in our bodily processes and make things in our body not work quite as well.
Why are toxins so bad for us kids?
It's a great question too. So toxins aren't just bad for kids, but they're bad for everybody. They're bad for adults, kids, pretty much anyone of any age across the board. So I work with a lot of couples who are trying to have babies, right? And we have found that infertility is actually on the rise, and a lot of it is due to toxins, because there are toxins in the world that look like hormones, right? So we all have natural hormones in our body. And so these toxins that are floating around that we're exposed to every day, a lot of them are things called xenohormones. So they mimic the natural hormones in our body and can basically play tricks on the body, right? And make our body think that there's actually a hormone there, but really it's a toxin. So when the toxin goes into almost like, think of it as like a key in a lock, right? So if the hormone is the right key, it turns the lock beautifully. Whereas if we take a toxin and it kind of looks like the key and it fits in the lock, but it's going to turn it the wrong way and make things happen not exactly as we want them to happen. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's also a lot of toxins in junk food, right? I bet your mom always tells you to read the ingredient label, right?
Yeah.
Tell me what you know about that.
That if you can't like spell it, then it's probably not good for your body.
Yeah, can you tell my kids that so they know that they're not the only kids that are being told? I'm gonna have you guys meet my kids so you can tell my kids the same thing. Yeah. So, right, it's exactly right. So if you can't read it, you don't know what it is, you don't recognize it, you can't pronounce it, you can't spell it on your own, then probably not good for you. So there's toxins all around us and toxins in food that we probably have in our pantries, that we're consuming every single day.
Where can we start to keep toxins away from us?
That's a great question. The first thing you want to do is, of course, clean up your house, right? So I always say there's some easy swaps, right? Swap out your body products for natural body products. We're going to swap out those nonstick pans, the ones that are, have the toxic coating, to non-toxic. There's actually non-toxic nonstick pans that work really, really well. My favorite is from a company called Our Place. And there's something called the Always pan. That's a great one. Another sneaky toxin that hangs out in your house is on, stain-resistant coatings on furnitures. We want to stay away from stain-resistant coatings, and use heavy-duty fabrics that maybe don't have all those chemicals on top of them. Let's see what else. One of my favorites is to put in a whole house water filter. I think that's a really easy way, because the municipal city water supply, more than likely, wherever you live, is probably not, it's probably loaded with toxins. In fact, I can guarantee that it is. So a whole house water filter is another great place to start. And the other thing I always say, which is a super, super easy fix, is stick with a whole foods diet, right? I talk to my patients a lot of times about eating, doing perimeter shopping. So I bet your mom's talked to you about this before, right? Perimeter shopping. Have you guys heard of that before?
No.
No? Okay, let's talk about it. So in the center of the store are all the things that don't require refrigeration, right? So the chips and the sodas and all the packaged foods, right? Those are in the middle of the grocery store. And on the outside of the grocery store are the dairy section, probably the fresh produce section where you can get your fruits and vegetables, and of course all of your proteins, right? Your seafood and your meat and everything. It's all around the edges of the grocery store. So if we shop around the edges of the grocery store, we're getting fresh, clean products, and you're not getting products that are loaded with toxins. The other thing that is really important to do is to stay in touch with the Clean 15 and the Dirty Dozen. So what that does is basically gives you a list. The EWG, which is called which stands for the Environmental Working Group, will publish a list of the Clean 15 and the Dirty Dozen every year. And the Clean 15 are the 15 produce items that are found to have the lowest number of pesticides and toxins. And so if they're considered clean, you can probably forego eating organic for those 15 products. And the Dirty Dozen are going to be the dirtiest produce products. So anything on the Dirty Dozen list, you want to make sure that you're getting organic. So those are just a few tips. I have lots more, but that's a good place to start, I think.
Where can we start to keep toxins away from us?
Well, again, all of these changes, right? All of these changes that we just talked about, you want to start doing one thing at a time, right? That's it, just one thing at a time. Make these changes.
How do these real foods help your body get rid of toxins?
Yeah, like you were talking about like the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 13.
Clean 15, yeah.
So is there any other foods that'll like get rid of toxins in your body?
So you know what, my biggest prescription for getting rid of toxins above and beyond everything else is, of course, eating your rainbow, right? So have you heard that about you? I'm sure your mom puts rainbow foods all over the place, right? But she talks about the color in food is actually given by something called phytonutrients, and each colored food, red, orange, yellow, green, purple, brown, white, all of them have different qualities that are, bring different health benefits to you. So the more colorful your diet, the more well-balanced your diet, and the more well-balanced your diet, the more vitamins, minerals, and nutrients your body is going to have to be able to properly detoxify. I always say the liver is your laundromat, right? So what does a laundromat do, right? It washes clothes and it gets rid of them, and it takes the dirt from the clothes and gets rid of it. So what comes out of there are clean clothes, right? So when I think about supporting our liver to work appropriately, I always talk to my patients about a well-balanced diet, because there are lots of vitamins, minerals, and nutrients that are needed to support both phase 1 and phase 2 of detoxification in the liver. So what does the liver do? The liver takes your fat-soluble toxins that are stored in fat in your body, converts them to water-soluble toxins that then we can get rid of in our body. How do we get rid of them? We get rid of it through our breath, our sweat, and by urination and defecation, right? Peeing and pooping. That's a really easy way to get rid of toxins. And the other really important thing to make sure that you're doing is drinking enough water, right? I always say, take your body weight in pounds, multiply that by 2, and that's how many ounces of water that you need per day. And that's a really easy way to keep things going and getting out of your body.
This is awesome. We love eating the rainbow foods. What else can us kids do to describe the toxins in our bodies?
Well, make sure you're drinking enough water, right? Make sure that you guys are exercising regularly, because the more you run around and sweat, guess what? You're getting rid of toxins when you sweat. Make sure that you eat your rainbow. Eat a balanced diet. Make sure that you're eating, the lean, like thoughtfully sourced proteins, right? So we're talking about grass-fed meat. We're talking about free-range chickens and eggs, or whatever your dietary choices are. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to eat animal meat. I mean, it's easy to have a clean, balanced diet with healthy proteins, even if you're vegetarian or have any other dietary preferences. But definitely, those are kind of the ways that you want to keep started. You want to get started. You want to keep active, rainbow diet. Make sure that you're eating enough protein, and also healthy grains are a really important part of supporting your diet, right? Because we also want to make sure that we're getting fiber so that we can properly move things through our body. And fiber is found in fruits and vegetables, and I always say complex carbohydrates. So try to stay away from white foods, move more towards brown foods. So complex carbs would be things like lentils or quinoa, or for instance, let's see what else, sweet potatoes and stuff like that.
So most kids don't like to drink water. So how can we kids get to drink more water?
So what kind of flavoring do you guys like?
I usually like to make like a lemonade.
I like
with
lemonade.
I like to take a cup and then put water in it and then drink it.
You do? Well, here's what I do with my kids. I let them choose their flavor. And so I'll put fresh cut fruit out. I'll maybe put some slices of lemons. I'll put mints and cucumbers. And we make all sorts of flavored water in the house. How do we do that? I just take a big jug of water and I let them choose their own adventure, so they can make a different flavor every day. Another really great way to get them to drink water is to make watermelon water or cucumber water, where you actually take the watermelon and puree it with purified water, and it basically tastes like delicious, fresh squeezed, or freshly pureed watermelon juice. And watermelon is a fruit that is actually mostly water, and it's got, sugar, which is actually good for you guys to have some healthy unprocessed sugars and unrefined sugars, which is exactly what sugar from watermelon is. So, and lemonade is a good one too. Homemade lemonade is a big one in our house, and we make it so simply. We basically just take water and put it into a blender with some fresh lemons, and you don't even have to take the rind off, believe it or not, and it actually tastes delicious. Just run it around with the lemon in there, just cut it in half, and I sometimes will add a little bit of maple syrup or a little bit of honey to make it taste a little bit better.
Yeah, I make lemonade. Like I put lemon juice and then I add some stevia and then I just put water and I mix it up, I guess, a little bit, and then I drink it and it's awesome.
That is amazing. We love that.
Yeah, my kids love it too. Have you ever tried cucumber mint water?
I think yeah, we've had it. At least I've had it.
No, we
once.
haven't.
Yeah, we did. No.
You know what you guys should try to do? This is one of my kids' favorites, and you'd be shocked at how delicious it tastes. Take a big thing of water and put freshly cut strawberries and a whole bunch of fresh lemon slices in it the night before. And in the morning, after you leave it overnight, it tastes like strawberry lemonade. It's delicious. You'd be surprised. I actually started drinking it and got kind of addicted to it.
What about
Epsom salt baths or saunas? Is that a good way to detoxify? Even though I hate taking a bath.
You don't like taking baths?
Yeah, I don't like taking a bath.
we all hate it.
Epsom salt baths are great. Because Epsom salt actually has magnesium in it. And so the lovely thing about an Epsom salt bath too is it also really helps with sleep because of all the magnesium in the salt. And that's a great way to detoxify. I personally have an infrared sauna in my house. Do you guys like saunas? Have you been in a sauna?
We've been between this like a sauna.
Like a hot tub. We just got a hot tub. We have saunas here.
Yeah, so I've got one in my house, and sometimes my son will actually come in there with me, and we'll do like a little reading night in there. My twins, who are 10, they don't like it as much, but my 12-year-old, he just turned 12, he loves it in there. And we'll go in there, we'll listen to music, we'll read, or we'll even just talk. the cool thing about an infrared sauna is that it's a dry sauna. And so the science behind it is it actually increases the internal temperature of your body. So the way that your temperature in your body rises is a little bit different because you're not, it's kind of rising from the inside out as opposed to a wet sauna, which is more heat from the outside in. And infrared saunas have so many health benefits. They everything from decreasing pain, decreasing inflammation. They make you sweat, which of course we already talked about that being a great way to detoxify. Also helps with collagen production. Oh my gosh, so many amazing benefits for infrared saunas. So highly, highly recommend. I think you guys might like an infrared sauna because it's not all that steam, right? Because when you go to those steamy places, it's like you can't see. And I don't know, when I go in those, sometimes I feel like I can't even breathe. But the infrared sauna, I actually go in my infrared sauna almost every day because it is so relaxing.
So, so how to explain it? Like, is there like a whole bunch of, is there different types of toxins?
Yeah, I mean, there definitely are different types of toxins. I mean, it depends on where they're coming from, right? So there are toxins that are carcinogens, and there are, toxins that are coming from emissions from cars. There's toxins in our food that are man-made toxins, and then there's also things in our environment that are toxic. So yes, there are multiple different versions of toxins, but the way we get rid of them is kind of universally the same. And this is actually another fun thing, which is that, our toxins are actually stored in our fat in our body. So our bodies are really, really smart. So they take these bad guys and they tuck them away into our fat pocket so they can't mess with our body. But then what happens actually by the time you're an adult, a lot of adults get to a point where they feel like, oh my gosh, I just can't lose this weight. They've tried a million different diets, they've tried everything, and they can't get rid of the weight. Well, here's the thing. When you have all these toxins stored in your fat all over your body, so that the collective number of toxins that you have in your body is called your toxic burden, right? So if you have a really high toxic burden, your all your fat stores are going to be basically loaded with toxins, and your body's smart. So your body is not going to get rid of that fat until the toxins are gone first. So actually, a lot of my patients, it is so cool because they'll just do a detox, right? So the liver's a laundromat, right? So they'll rev up their laundromat, they'll start releasing all these toxins, and then guess what? All of a sudden, they start losing weight, and they're so confused. They're like, well, how did I just lose all of that weight? And I didn't even really do anything other than, start, eating, the food that you told me to eat and taking some supplements and some other things, and some shakes. So, I think that it's pretty amazing how smart our bodies are. Our bodies are really designed to protect us. And I think that's a really important thing to understand when we talk about detoxification is our body is designed to handle these toxins and keep them away so that we can always function at our best.
So are there supplements that can help us kids so they can help us kids can take to help us detoxify?
That's a great question. You know what? The cool thing is that we have a natural detoxification system in our body that is designed to work really, really well already. So we don't necessarily need to take specific supplements as kids. I think the more important thing for kids to do to detoxify is to do the things we talked about. Make sure that you're getting enough water. So drink either plain water or flavored water or homemade lemonade or, any one of those fruit infused water or vegetable infused water that we talked about. I think that's a great way, to support your detoxification organs. As for kids, I mean, that being said, the nutrient density in our food is not quite as good as it used to be when we were all hunters and gatherers and, growing our own food in our backyard and so forth. And so as a result, I definitely have my kids take a really high quality multivitamin, which I'm going to have one especially for kids coming out actually in the next few weeks. And do you guys swallow pills yet?
Yeah, I do.
I can
Okay.
swallow
You
vitamin.
can? Yeah. So, I mean, I have chewables too, but the cool thing is that the supplement that I'm coming out with is a teeny tiny little capsule that kids can swallow. And it's so small that even when I was first trying it out and I gave it to my kids, they weren't at the point where they could swallow pills. At least my twins couldn't. My eldest, you know, he boycotts it a little bit, but he eventually did it. But the cool thing is it's so small that they can swallow it. So for kids, I always say there's some basic supplements that I always say to take, and that is just a really good high quality pharmaceutical grade multivitamin. And I always want to make sure that there are enough omega-3s in the diet, right? Omega-3s are your healthy fats that are really important for all of your cells and really important in the detoxification process. And also making sure that you have a variety of protein in the diet. Regardless of your dietary restrictions, there are amino acids that are needed to support the liver's detoxification system. So, for kids, I always say if you're eating your rainbow diet, you're drinking enough fluids, you're eating a variety of protein, you're eating fruits and vegetables on a regular basis, you're not eating a lot of junk food, and you're not eating all that food that we would find in the center of the supermarket, you probably don't need a whole lot of supplements, but a multivitamin is a great way to ensure that you're kind of, filling in any gaps. And the cool thing is you can't really overdose because anything extra, your body's gonna naturally eliminate.
Okay, so this was amazing. What is one thing that kids can start today to help overall health and healing?
Well, I always say awareness is the first place to start, right? So, what would you guys say? What would be like the one thing that you think would be the easiest of all the things we talked about? What do you guys think would be the easiest thing for a kid who's done none of this stuff to just start doing today?
Eat healthy.
Yeah.
Maybe start to eating the rainbow.
Yeah,
Or
I
if you
agree. I
want to
think,
do something like really simple, you can just, like you said, that dry sauna.
Drink more
yeah,
water.
yeah, those are great. I think eating the rainbow is like such a cool way to start because it's kind of fun too. And it can be fruits and vegetables. So you can think of all the red things, right? Red things would be strawberries and red peppers and tomatoes. And then you can
Raspberry.
think of all the orange foods. Right, exactly. And so I always tell my kids, like, let's play a game and I'll chop up a bunch of produce and vegetables and we make it fun. Like, who can make a cool rainbow and then we have kind of a race who can finish it first. And so that's how I got my kids eating a lot of things that they maybe weren't previously eating or maybe boycotting eating because, kids don't always want to eat everything we tell them to eat. But that I always feel like starting with a game and gamifying the eating process always makes it a little bit more achievable. And again, like the make your own type of water. Set up a little station where you're letting the kids drop variety of fruits and flavors and kind of taste testing the next morning. Which one do you like better? I feel like gamifying the whole process is really, really a fun way to get started with kids.
So, where can people learn more about you and your work?
Yeah. So I'm on Instagram and it looks like it's scrolling across the bottom. Your Functional Doc on Instagram is a great way to get to know me. From there, I've got a link that goes to all of the things that I have online at the moment. You can also go to my website, which is drnashatlatib.com, spelled exactly like that. And yeah, those are probably the easiest ways to find me online.
That was so empowering. Everyone, make sure to follow Dr. Latif, so on social media. On social media. Thank you so much, Dr. Latif. Let's recap Doctors Latif's key points.
We are surrounded with toxins all around us, but there is so much we can do to help. Make to clean out your house. Swap out stain resistance coatings and non-stick pans. Also put in whole house water filter. Stick with the whole food shopping. Do perimeter shopping. Stay away from the chips, sodas, and other processed foods. So when you eat, surround the perimeter so you can eat on real foods. Make sure the foods on the dirty dozen are organic. Eating the rainbow is also a great way to keep a balanced diet and get enough fiber in your diet. Drink enough water, take a big jug of water and add different fruits and veggies in it to make sure you are exercising regularly and make sure you are sweating daily. She really likes to take dry baths. We should try that one time. And then on saunas. And then omega-3 and multivitamins are great sources, and say with the protein are really important to help your liver detoxify. If we do these regularly, we can keep our body healthy and lower the toxins. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Until next time, I'm Zansari.
I'm Ahmad. And I'm Qasim.
Follow my family and I on social media. Holistic Momsy, and look up for my mom's book, The Holistic Arts, Your Guide to Chronic Inflammation and Disease, and the amazing children's book we wrote together called Adam's Healing Adventures, The Power of Rainbow Foods, and the new book called Adam's Healing Adventures. Adam's Adventures, Gratitude is a Superpower, and called Adam's and the Adam's Healing series. Adam's Healing Adventures series is a whole pack. Check it out on Amazon. Yay! We are almost at our 100th episode, and we have a free gift for you. We have special guests. We have a special guest for our 100th episode. So this is going to be amazing. Kids need to learn from other kids. Please download our podcast in that iTunes and leave a review so other kids and families can benefit. We need to work together to create a healthy future for all of us and the planet. Join us next week for another episode of the Holistic Kid Show, where kids are empowering kids. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Thank you.
Bye.